Hi everybody. In this video, I'd like to give you some of my top tips on playing on electric instruments. Let's talk about adjusting your sound first of all. When adjusting your sound with electric instruments, I find it's very important to know that the louder you play, the sharper your sound normally gets, which means the more trebly it normally gets. So what I like to do is counterbalance that when I'm adjusting my sound. If I'm going to play with a loud band, as you can see here, I'm going to roll down my highs slightly and start rolling up my lows. Also, to fatten up my sound and make it more beautiful, basically, I add a little bit of reverb, and that should basically be it, what you need. As I mentioned with the Silent Violin 250, you could do this with your control box. Other than that, you can instruct your sound engineer or do this on your amp. Another thing that we need to sort of be aware of is how to go about the effects. The effects are something you have to work with. You cannot press a button and the effect comes out. I think when you have, let's say, an effect pedal like this, you will have a lot of options of playing distortion, for instance. And you're going to have to try through them. You're going to have to see which sound you like. You're going to have to adjust the sound, maybe a little less highs again, because they tend to be very sharp. A little more lows to get a nice balanced and round sound with your electric instrument. Another thing that's important to know is that, of course, you can play these electric instruments not only with a loop station, but in any setting. Okay, so you could play at home with, let's say, a play-along. These you can find online or you can buy them in stores. You can practice with the play-alongs, or best of all, you can play with a band. Okay, that's actually why we play electric instruments, to play together with others, to play with loud drummers, bass players, saxophone players, singers, and with these instruments, this is possible. What I do think is that on an electric instrument, you're going to be playing slightly differently from what you're used to from an acoustic instrument. I'll give you some examples. When I'm on stage playing very loud, I don't want to be too strong with my bow attack. When we're playing an acoustic violin, we're filling an entire hall just playing with our instrument, which means we really need to dig into the instrument. What happens when you dig in with the electric instrument is that gets amplified. I'll show you. You get your attack sound amplified. You heard this little at the beginning of the note. Now, when I do this very loudly, people get this attack sound very loud. So the louder I play, the softer I actually play from my attack. I might play more like with a softer way of starting the note. Okay, I think this is very important to know because if you are amplified, I'm going to start this loop. If you're amplified and you play like this, it might be a little over the top. Okay, a little too strong. Even if maybe with an acoustic instrument you would tend to play that strongly, with an electric instrument, it's like an overdose of testosterone or so. So what I choose to do also, because this matches the style a little better, I play lighter. And I think more in dance-like rhythms. Sort of like this, okay? And the louder I play, the more I want to watch this. Also, when you're playing with effects, you have different ways of playing. If you think of an electric guitar, let's say, and you're playing with a distortion pedal, you very often see electric guitar players tapping. They don't actually have to pick the string that much anymore. They can start tapping. You've probably seen this. And it's the same with the violin. If I activate a distortion pedal, I can play more with my left hand and let the effects sort of take care of the intensity of my sound. Again, this doesn't go quite so well with this play along, but give you a little bit of an idea for that, okay? I was now playing a lot less active than I would normally play with an acoustic violin, simply because the sound is already giving me the intensity I need. Good. Another thing that we need to watch when we're playing electric instruments, I would say, is you want to sort of match the style. I briefly spoke about this in the previous video. The styles we have in modern music are, let's say, blues, hip-hop, jazz, funk, gospel, R&B, rock, metal. So if you're into any of these styles, I would listen to these styles a lot. They're not commonly styles that string players play in, right? So I would start listening to these styles, find artists that you really enjoy, try imitating them, try matching them. This is really how we learn the so-called language, okay? In jazz, we talk about the jazz language, and there's a different language we use in rock music. And if you really want to learn this, it's not enough to just buy the book where it says rock violin, in my opinion, although those books are very good, but you need to listen to this style a lot and start imitating that, okay? Another thing I'd like to point out for string players, if we're playing in some of the modern styles, one of our most common habits needs to be toned down a little bit. We like to play with a lot of vibrato if we're coming from classical music. And in most of the styles, most of the American styles, vibrato is going to be turned down. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm again playing over this loop I just assembled. Again, you hear this is a little too emotional for what that's actually transporting. So, I'm going to cut down the vibrato to a minimum, just at the end of the note, sort of. At the end of the note, I give it a little bit of breath. And this is a habit we have from playing classical music, where it's a virtue to be able to vibrate a lot of notes. In this kind of music, I would ask you to tone it down, okay? I hope these were a few tips helping you with electric instruments. Again, our goal is to have the utmost fun. So if you love vibrating, go ahead and do it. I'm not saying it's forbidden. It's just sometimes we are a little too intense from our playing compared to, let's say, a rock guitar player who, you know, he slides and he has his intensity in a different way. So it would be good to listen to that and try to adapt to it. And then I'm sure very soon you will get a lot of calls with your electric instrument where you get opportunities to play with others. So I'll see you in the next video.